North Coast Rave Report. Dearest Cecil, I write to you in the endeavour of finally laying to rest the rivalry that has inflicted our lives for so very long. We have audited and assessed, interviewed and consulted peer reviews from all our contemporaries and their buoyant chin-wagging apprentices, the findings of which I now relay to you informally as an old friend prior to the official report due next month. There is a matter of urgency that I will get to in due course. I hope to warn those down on the south coast in the hope of minimising the effects of this new development. Firstly, let me set aside bygone tensions by expressing my perennial delight at watching the illegal party movement spring into life at the beginning of the rave season. The Mitsubishis have migrated across the Tamar as the boats arrive in our ports laden with chisel and skunk. I do believe I shall never tire of watching rambunctious titilators go absolutely wrangling bonkers as they emerge from their winter lairs to stretch out with renewed extravagance the devouring of ecstasy and foot-stomping beats that do appear at various locations come the end of the last frost. Oh, Cecil, on a personal note, I must relay to you the joy this brings to my very existence, and reminds me quite why we moved into hedonistic conservation in the first place. There is nothing quite like watching the red-faced urchins bop around with sweaty euphoric intent, their perspiring outfits clashing with colour as they enthuse with soggy embraces and slapped clapping handshakes. I have avidly studied this season's newest participants, and as per par are from a range of demographics. They have, over the course of the year, transmuted from the sketchy, insecure, emotionally addled beings that they once were, to sketchy, insecure, emotionally addled cretins, only now with a healthy fixation of dance culture and its accompanying pharmacology. The coping mechanisms this installs in the young raver is a life skill that will assuredly never leave them. The tracksuit sporting suburban youth have been particularly notable this season. In bygone eras, the culture of the high-rise and low-budget social tenement have oft come into conflict with the intended emotional ambience of the ancient tradition of getting totally off one's nut to some dirty sick beats. Those oft in transition from football thuggery to full-blown transnationals do seem on the recline this year. Again, as usual, we have been able to observe the cross-pollination between the various species of the Southwest raver. The postmodern hippies, New Age travellers and general old-school crusties, with their psilocybin and space cakes, create bonds with the Kappa-clad clan and other foals fallen foul of societal norms. Admittedly, some of the older generations are looking a little worse for their wares, their old Holborn roll-ups staining their scraggly grey locks, the faded tie-dye tights saggy with reluctant enthusiasm. Though I would suggest that their red vessel noses and weary bloodshot eyes are more to do with daily consumption of white lightning cider and low-grade gold seal hashish as anything to do with their participation in the Southwest rave scene. This cultural exchange, one clan subliminally appropriating the ways of another, well, this has been the order of the rave scene for millennia. Though, Cecil, I must now voice my concern over contemporary trends and developments. There is no easy way to describe the new phenomena known as wonk. We were both there, Cecil, when that first shipment of Hoffman's finest arrived in our ports, how it transformed swathes of society, not without some complications and casualties, but as we observed, the contribution it made to the evolution of the collective human psyche has been invaluable. We both bore witness to the arrival of the euphoric-inducing tablets decades later, healing trauma in so many a raver, bridging subcultural gaps. Now, Cecil, I fear the state of current substances has swerved towards a twistier path. Hallucinations are nothing new to us, Cecil, and although the internal intoxicated logic was near impossible to fathom, there was still a certain dignity to the specimens undergoing their unique visual psychosis. Alas, Cecil, that dignity is no more. These tranquilized creatures dribble and snuffle, baked crusts oozing from their nostrils. Their imbalance, even when seated, induces anxiety of concussion. Babbling and barking seem the only means of communication. Gone is the wit and joy. They hold only mongoloid capabilities. The free party scene has been invaded by these cretinous goblins. The very same, but a few years ago, would be bouncing with euphoria, bonding in connection with all surrounds them. But alas and woe to these disconnected snot elves, stumbling and babbling blithering mumbles. The loved-up crew do their best to mop up the mess, but even their tolerance is waning. The wokest hippie has become grumbling in their care. I feel the situation cannot exacerbate itself any further. Tell me, Cecil, what is the status of such symptoms on the South Coast? I look forward to your response. I'm hoping we can, for the first time in an era, align our intentions and work together on this one. In hope, from your rivalrous comrade, Cedric.
South Coast Rave Response. Oh, Cedric, I appreciate you bringing our attention to these new developments. I hear the concern in your voice, as one who cares so deeply for both the indigenous raver and their collective diaspora. I am trying to find the words to relay to you my shared concern that eclipses the geographical rivalry that is so defining of our dynamic. However, my old friend, once again, those on the North Coast are quite behind the times, out of touch with current revelations of modern-day revelry. I do surely wish to approach this discourse without the prevailing air of patronising tones and condescending rhetoric so prevalent between us. Yet my competitive self cannot help but gleefully point out your recurring incompetence. We here on the South Coast have been studying the effects of the We here on the South Coast have been studying the effects of the nouveau narcotic known as ketamine since it was initially identified on the dance floors many moons ago. We have also commissioned investigations into its socio-economic implications with our global partners in hedonistic conservation. We have to date implicated various procedures as in line with standard protocols, set up an international task force to assess the ramifications of both the production and consumption of what you refer to in your provincial dialectical naivety as wonk. Extensive cross-collaborative exchanges have taken place across a number of sectors. The Rave Conservation Society have been liaising with both the heritage hedonists and the New Age alignment over on the East Coast. We have also been talking to the National Network of Narcotics and Philanthropic Pharmacists, who have been invaluable in their insight. I didn't involve you, Cedric, because quite frankly you are out of touch. The ketdemic has been in its wobbly motions for quite some time, and the fact that you are only now becoming aware of it is yet again another symptom of the incompetence of the institution that you allegedly run. Your saving grace is your humble humility, and in that space I find common ground for sharing information with you. As a professional courtesy, offering the symbol of an olive branch, I will now relay the basics of our current research. First patented in 1963 and approved by the American Medical Board for its use in sedating animals, the substance known as ketamine was invented by Dr. Calvin L. Stevens 1 year prior. Ketamine is predominantly manufactured in the rural areas of China and India, but is being produced in smaller batches in makeshift laboratories across the globe. The product can be made in large quantities quite from scratch, requiring only off-the-shelf elemental chemicals. It needs no organic raw products such as opium or the cacao leaf. This somewhat democratizes the production process, freeing it from the oligarchy of the cartels in control of such commodities. It was first used recreationally in the 1970s, but it wasn't until the emergence of the electronic music movements in Europe and the United States of America in the 1980s that it really started to become the substance of choice for consumers. We here in the Southwest didn't really see its emergence until the late 1990s, where its use has increased incrementally. Users have anecdotally reported that its effects have helped them overcome internal battles where conventional therapies had failed them. Indeed, this social, one might even say spiritual function, has been researched by many prestigious institutions, and their findings are a matter of public record, Cedric. It pains me to witness your reluctance to attempt even the most cursory of investigations before leaping to the derogatory labels you have chosen to adopt. Your lack of academic curiosity is a further symptom of your estrangement from the ideals of our institution. Perhaps, Cedric, you should stop othering and shaming those whom you are employed to monitor. Your tone of judgment is unprofessional, not to mention bigoted and unethical. I should remind you of your position of privilege over the Southwest Raver, Cedric, and suggest you act in accordance with the hedonistic oath you took when you first joined our fine organisation. Perhaps, old friend, you should shake off the morality you have evolved towards and try meeting your subjects on an objective level. I see no better method for achieving this than by partaking in the substance you have created such a panic around in your reactionary fear. Get down the K-hole, Cedric. You might find some empathy down there. Over and out.